It's been a while since I posted a video, but this one's going to be going over The Last Dance, that 10-film documentary about the 98 Chicago Bulls team that just was released. It was amazing. If you guys haven't seen it yet or watched any of it, at least, I definitely recommend it. You can easily find it most likely like on demand or YouTube or something. I definitely recommend it. It's 10 episodes. Each episode's an hour long, so 10 hours. Definitely worth your time, though. If you're a basketball fan, if you're a sports fan, if you're a Bulls fan, this is all reasons to watch it. If you're a Michael Jordan fan, it's a reason to watch it. When I first started watching it, I, of course, didn't know what exactly it was going to be about. I just knew it was going to be like a Bulls documentary. I learned a lot of things from it. I learned a lot of things about like Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, even Phil Jackson, like stuff I didn't know about them that I already knew. But then I also learned some things about teams that the Bulls faced, like the Knicks, the Pistons, Blazers, Sonics, Jazz, teams like those that kind of like were their rivals, even the Rockets too. So I learned a lot about those teams that I also didn't know. And I call myself like a mini basketball expert. I would say I know a lot about basketball, like current stuff and old stuff. Of course, I wasn't around to live through all of this Chicago Bulls stuff, but I know a lot of it already. But there were some interesting things. One of the things that blows my mind still is just how underpaid Scottie Pippen was. I honestly did not know how underpaid he was. Episode 2 actually talks more about Scottie Pippen himself. So if you're interested to learn more about Scottie Pippen, episode 2 is the one to watch for you. Episode 1 is about Michael Jordan. Episode 2 is about Pippen. Episode 3 is about Rodman. And of course, like his days during the Bad Boys, his days in Chicago, and the whole Carmen Electra thing. That's all Dennis Rodman, all episode 3. And episode 4 was about Phil Jackson. That one I pretty much learned a lot of new things in. Because I didn't really know much about Phil Jackson I should say the only thing I really knew about him was his like coaching and playing experience. I didn't really know a lot of other things. But then episodes 5 through 10 are pretty much just different things that happened to the team or to certain players in seasons prior to 98, and then mainly focusing on the 98 season, the Last Dance, as they called it. But going back to the Scottie Pippen thing, the thing that really interests me the most was how underpaid he was. And he was the 122nd highest paid player in the NBA. I don't know what year I think this was the 97-98 season. He signed, when he was a rookie, he signed a 7-year, like $18 million contract, I think it was. So he was making barely $1 million a year. There were some years, of course, he was making $1 million or just over $1 million per year. But that's pretty much all he was making. And he was, as we all know, one of the best small forwards to ever play the game, one of the best defensive players of all time. And yeah, so the fact that he was that underpaid was kind of crazy. And then it led into some things I didn't know that revolved around him and Jordan's relationship at the start of that season specifically. But yeah, so that episode was pretty interesting just because I didn't really know a lot about Scottie Pippen per se. And that was a fact that still sticks to my head through this day. But like I said, if you're a Bulls fan, if you're a basketball fan, if you're a sports fan, if you're a Michael Jordan fan, all the above, and even though a lot of states are opening back up soon, and a lot of states have already opened back up, even though we're not going to necessarily be stuck inside for a whole lot more, it still would be a great thing to watch, if you ever have some free time and, on a crappy day outside and you got nothing else to do, watch it, because I definitely recommend it. It was definitely something when I was watching it every week, it was actually giving me something to look forward to. And it was exciting. And I wish it could have gone longer than 10 episodes because I loved it. Loved every episode. But I think they did a good job. I really did think that they got a lot of the major points down that happened. There were some things that I was thinking that they were going to show, they didn't. And one of them was dealing around like Michael Jordan and how big his sneakers kind of grew. They touched on it a little bit in one of the episodes. I think it was 5 or 6. But one of the things that I know is that Michael Jordan, of course, was the first player to wear like custom sneakers. And he was the first one to sign a deal with like a Nike or Adidas or anything like that, because everyone prior to was wearing Converse All-Stars. And I want to say, I think Reebok was the main shoe sponsor. So Jordan was like the first one to get like his own signature shoe as well. That's the other key thing. And of course, he was wearing them every game. And there was one season, I don't remember which one it was, but the league kind of got mad at him, and they had to talk to Nike about how he was the only one in the entire league not wearing this one specific shoe. There was a whole thing about the league and Nike because that's who he signed with. And it just went from there. And I thought they were going to touch about that because that was kind of like a big thing in my eyes. Because, like, again, Jordan changed the shoe game. He did. He changed the shoe game to what it is now. And he changed how basketball players wear different types of basketball shoes now. So he kind of started that, and I thought they were going to touch base on that a little bit, but they didn't. So, but all in all, it was a really great documentary. I'm not really a fan of documentaries, but that one really intrigued me, and I'm glad I watched it. And I like that it was 10 parts. I think if it was a full, of course, like 5-6 hour documentary, probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. But the fact that it was broken up into episodes that were each an hour long, I think it made it a little bit more enjoyable to watch and a lot more easier to watch. But yeah, so that was just my quick review on it, thoughts on it. Again, I highly recommend it to pretty much everyone out there. Even if you're not a basketball fan or you're not a Michael Jordan fan, you don't really even know who Michael Jordan is, which if you don't, I don't know where you've been. But like, even if you don't know half about that, like even if you don't know Michael Jordan, the Bulls, history, and all that stuff, still watch it. I definitely still recommend it. But that's going to be it for this short video just to get my thoughts on The Last Dance. There should be another video coming out soon, but this was just a nice little breather. So thanks for watching.